All right, how's it going, guys? This video is going to be hopefully pretty short, but it should teach you in really rapid fire a few key concepts I want you guys to know for decent looking video, okay? How to avoid some common mistakes that I've seen students make over and over and over. And to do that, I got to get pretty unflattering here, so you're going to see my ugly face very up close. Lesson one is you guys are always, if you're shooting with your phone, you're always going to be holding it sideways like this because we want widescreen, okay? Like they use on YouTube. We're not shooting stuff for TikTok or Snapchat or anything like that, so we're not flipping the phone like this in portrait mode. We're keeping it sideways, so we've got a nice widescreen view, okay? So that's rule number one. Like movies or TV or YouTube, widescreen, like this. All right, secondly, keep it steady. So you're trying to keep it steady. You can get selfie sticks or you can get tripods. There's actually tripods you can get from Amazon for pretty cheap. Let me show you one. Very cheap, but decent. Amazon Basics tripod, 10 bucks, maybe 12. And then on top of that, and there's a bunch of different companies that make these, that's a cell phone holder that you attach to the top of the tripod. And now you've got a tripod that you can use with a cell phone. This thing sits up like about 5 feet when you get it all the way up. Okay, so you can definitely get one of these and that might make your life a lot easier. You don't need one, but it is one easy and relatively cheap way of making sure you keep your camera nice and steady. The other thing I would recommend is you guys get good at sort of pressing your elbows into your chest and holding the phone as steady as possible like that. If you kind of press your elbows into your chest a bit, it helps to keep your arms really nice and steady. Instead of if you're holding the way out here, your arms are a lot more likely to sort of get tired and shake all over the place, okay? Just like this, nice and steady. That'll also help you to keep everything from shaking, keep everything nice and smooth. All right, another one is always be watching out for this. You don't want your finger or your thumb to be accidentally going over the camera on your phone, okay? And that one is a little bit harder to watch out for if you're using the camera on the back side of your phone, but I still recommend using the camera on the back side of your phone normally because it just looks a lot nicer. But if you're having to film yourself, if you're doing it kind of selfie style like I am, that's fine. Use the camera on the front of your phone like I am. But anyways, keep an eye out for that, okay? No fingers in the frame. We really want to avoid that, okay? And eventually I will take points off for that. We're together for an entire semester, and within a few weeks, I should expect that you guys should be making sure you're not accidentally making these simple mistakes, okay? Next one, so let's talk a little bit about lighting, and we'll get more into lighting on another lesson. But one of them is, do you see how dark I am right now? You see how it's just getting darker and darker? That's the camera automatically adjusting to the fact that there's this super bright light right here, and there's all these light photons pouring into the camera lens. And so just like your eyeballs, just like your pupil does, where it contracts and closes down to let less light in, the camera lens does the same thing. And so when you point a camera up at a ceiling like this and there's a light in the camera, it messes the picture up, just like it's doing right now. Same with a window. Close to 100% of the time, you will get much better results if you just turn around and let the natural light from the window hit your subject, hit your face, okay? So just remember, the light from the window should be hitting your subject, the thing that you're actually filming. It should not be going directly into the camera like this. Because again, just like the light from the ceiling, this just makes it look bad. Make the window light your friend, not your enemy, by just turning around. That's all it takes, okay? So that's another one. Finally, with the whole looking at the ceiling thing, people very often, especially when they're taking selfies and stuff, they hold the camera underneath themselves. And then things like your chin will look a lot bigger and you'll see like maybe some wrinkles or some double chin action going on underneath your face. The camera will be pointed straight up your nose. That's not flattering. You just don't look as good from this angle as you do from, say, up high or kind of in the middle, okay? But really, for most people, the camera actually being pointed a little bit above them, pointing down at them, is probably typically kind of the most flattering angle for people. Okay, so keep that in mind. You want the camera generally a little bit above you, not a little bit below you. Speaking of unflattering, there's something that, and I've never thought of a better term for it, there's something that we like to call the unflattering zone. I've kind of been in the unflattering zone this whole video because my arms just aren't that long, but I just want to show you guys something. It's the type of camera these phones have. It's called a wide angle lens. when you take a wide angle lens and you get it really close to a person's face, let me try to focus, it starts to make their features look really ridiculously elongated, kind of accentuates your features in a way that doesn't look good. It's unflattering to get too close. The farther away you get with a wide angle lens, the less your features are like sticking out and looking really exaggerated and ugly. So you want to stay farther away from somebody if you can. The trick about that is eventually it becomes an audio problem, where if you get too far away from somebody, right? If I get too far away from the camera, eventually the audio is just not going to be as good. So if you're filming somebody from across the room, of course the audio is not going to sound as good as if you're filming somebody from a couple feet away. So keep that in mind. So you want to be as close to somebody as possible without putting them in the unflattering zone and making them look ugly, okay? So that's my last tip for today. Very quick review. Hold it sideways, keep it steady, keep it close as possible without being in the unflattering zone, and avoid pointing the camera up at somebody's chin, up somebody's nose, up into the lights in the ceiling, or into the sun coming through the windows, okay? Those are the main things I want you guys to keep in mind, and the main things I don't want to see that I want you guys to avoid when you start turning in videos. All right? Thank you.